Let's go, chat. Let's go. What is up, everybody? Hey. It's Sunday night. What better to do than go through the galaxy and talk to me? Everybody's probably not favorite LGS owner, but an LGS owner that's hanging out and talking with you guys. How we doing? Let me know, guys, if you can hear me okay, see what's up. I don't have anything going on since we close early on Sundays now, so here I am, hanging out with y'all. So, how we doing? Appreciate everybody. Are we sounding good? Music okay? Do you even hear music? I don't even know, but let me know how everything's looking on everybody's end. We got Poke Department Store, InDev's here, Basic, what's up? Marcus Mann, hello, how we doing? Phil's here. Drew, oh, here we go. Everybody's coming in now. Come on in, boys. Come on in. Come hang out with your old pal. How's everybody doing? Man, what's some good topics. Everybody's coming back from from Collecticon Orlando. Everybody's winding down from the weekend. Everybody's chilling. I'm still at work, but I'm not working. I'm gonna try to do some work, but I'm definitely not gonna be doing work. So yeah, we'll be hanging out. Professor Oaks in the chat. Love you, buddy. Hope you had fun this weekend. Robert Cherry's here. Appreciate checking on the audio. Pokey Shark. You're just watching a video. Oh, cool. Yeah, we can talk about some videos. You guys want to throw some thoughts at me? The Lacana video, let me tell you, that was an interesting one. A lot of people. You can always tell when videos do better than my normal ones, or they have better reach than my normal videos, because they always talk about like they're not familiar with the channel. So it's just like, it's kind of funny whenever I watch that kind of stuff, and people come back and ask me some things. Or we'll say something like, "Oh yeah, I do actually own a store. I am familiar with how things work, but that's okay." I always appreciate anybody that comments on videos. I try to be nice. I don't try to butt heads too much. But Pokeshark says, "How are you streaming from outside?" Let me tell you, we are zooming through space with the speed of light. Let me tell you. Moving on to the background, kinda. That wasn't the inspiration for all this, but no, yeah. But yeah, we're just hanging out in chat. We can talk Scarlet and Violet allocations, or if you guys have any questions about Scarlet and Violet, what's going on. Pre-release is coming up. Whew, 2 weeks. Yeah, just about 2 weeks. So it's coming. That's pre-release. When the set drops, man, it's gonna be wild. So exciting times to be in Pokemon. J-Dop, hey, how we doing? Currently it's still going up even though more product is on the rise? Who has more product? Where is it? I don't have any product. Do you guys see any product? Let me know. Are you guys seeing Crown Zenith like in Walmart's, Targets, big box stores, anything like that? Are you seeing Crown Zenith anywhere? It has been bone dry where I'm at. So I have not seen jack squat. Just this is the new products that come out. I get that one little thing that I got pre-ordered, and there it is. It's kind of crazy. Professor Oak was listening to me and Basic argue with each other last night. That was pretty fun. Always love chatting with Basic. Brody's asking, is there any reprint for Silver Tempest? No, not that I've seen. Haven't heard anything. No boxes available for dang near almost 3 months without any booster boxes. I'm just breaking down whatever I can at this point. It's been a time, let me tell you. Wicked Wailords, hello, how we doing? Are there any cards that are excluded from the English set? You talking about from Scarlet and Violet? I don't know if the whole set's been spoiled yet. Um, Normally somebody leaks the like the big ETB booklet, and they'll show that wherever. But I haven't seen it yet. I don't know of anything. Puy Shark, is Scarlet and Violet Build and Battle Stadiums worth it, or is it better? Man, Build and Battle Stadiums are pretty rough products. I used to think they were just leftovers from the like pre-release kits that they would build, but it seems like they are really going in on making those, and they absolutely do not sell at all. They are just so bad. And it's not good value. Like, it's 12 packs, you know, four packs, and then 2 build and battle kits. And they want, like, I think it's like $50, $60 MSRP. It's crazy. Like, no one's going to pay that. It's just, they're just not good products. It's kind of wild. So, I'm not a big fan of them. I wish they would just give us build and battle stadium, or build and battle kits. Just give us the kits. It's fine. We'll be okay. I know that they wanted to start like a 2-player like pre-release at home thing, and it's just not. That ain't it. They're 11 packs now. They're not even 12 packs. Oh, they're even worse value then. That's terrible. Who wants that? No one's asking for that stuff. Echo Base is in here. Hello, how we doing? Endev just says a bunch of Crown Zenith up in Indy. Indy's stealing all the product. I gotta make a trip then. Want a pineapple saying went to Target in E-Town and they had Elizabethtown here. It's about an hour away from here. 30 to 50 ETBs of Crown Zenith. Wow, it's pretty cool. Rick Crispy says, bone dry. I caught 3 cases of Evolving Skies boosters on Pokemon Center last week. Yeah, and how long did it last, Rick? Like, what? You can't get lucky with a drop and then be like, what are you guys talking about? Something that was live for like 15 minutes. What are you talking? Come on. Just because you just wanted to brag that you got lucky. Like, I get it. That's cool. But what do you mean? Like, we're moving on. Brody says, got a fairly decent stock here in Australia, but it's getting harder. Yeah. It is funny how different regions and areas get different stuff sometimes. It's really neat. People talking back and forth. Hello, hello. Hi, hi. Everybody's coming in. Gerald says he found a couple ETBs last night at local Walmart. Cool. Hopefully they're actually intact and not just ripped open and stolen from. That's pretty nice. Phil says no Crown Zenith anywhere. Up in Canada. Interesting. Angel Wings. Plan on going to the pre-release at Cardinal. Let's go. Pre-release. What is that? The 18th and 19th of March. Should be really cool events. Lots of fun. We always give away door prizes and stuff, so it's always... Pre-releases are my favorite things to run and have fun with. They're super cool. It's fun, casual time, hanging out. If you ever have a chance to go to a pre-release, just go, because you get cards early, and they're just super chill and fun. So, really cool little events. Echo Base has a full hour to do nothing, so he's spending it here with me. Man, I appreciate you, Echo. Wise Wizard Gaming wants to know investing advice. I don't know what to tell you. Couldn't tell you. Pokeball Billionaires, hello. How do you feel about the Japanese cards? Soon to be 2 sets ahead of English, with Triple Beat releasing even before English Scarlet and Violet base does. Yeah, it's weird, right? I thought we were closing the gap. Especially when Pokemon Go and stuff, we actually got Pokemon Go before Japan. And then they seemed like they was getting more and more closer together, and I thought, ooh, this is nice. We're actually not getting spoiled to tons of sets before we actually get ours, right? It's kind of would be nice, but yeah, I know that there's delays. I think ours, Scarlet and Violet got pushed back, which meant that the other set had to be pushed back. It's really weird. I don't know what's going on. Absolutely nutty. That there's just nothing going on, and they're pushing things back when there's not any product to be found anyways. It's just super weird, right? I would love to know, and it's really weird that we don't have any knowledge or information coming out of Millennium Print Group or any other source of just what's going on. Just somebody tell us what's going on. Out of the hundreds of people that probably work there, what's going on? It's really weird. Pokemon Japan is superior than English, sure. English Pokemon cards are just really good proxies of Japanese ones. They really are. Really good. Echo Bay says, I forget, do you sell Japanese sets? If not, why? Yeah, I don't sell Japanese sets just because it's hard to get, especially with them being tampered and weird right now. I don't want to mess with them. It's just a lot of hassle. But just historically, I sold Eevee Heroes, and then one of the high class sets I had, I think I bought a case of. But other than that, we never stocked them. It's just not worthy. It's not really worth it. It's not worth putting them on the shelf and then, God forbid, the English set comes out and nobody wants Japanese stuff anymore. It's kind of crazy. So I just don't bother. What year was your shift from selling packs to selling booster boxes? I haven't visited an LGS since 2016? What? What is happening? You haven't even had a desire to just go look at Pokemon cards, just like singles, in 7 years? That's crazy. Man, that's wild. What year was your... I mean, we've always sold booster boxes and packs. And back, you used to be able to get a whole box and get a deal. But, yeah, that doesn't really exist anymore. There's not an opportunity where if I'm selling packs so fast, it makes no sense for me to sell a booster box for a deal. Especially if I can't restock them. That's just, it's just how things are now. PokeShark says, do you think Astral Radiance will be readily available in 6 months? Astral Radiance. Astral Radiance was one of the last sets that ran out at distribution. It's just it's just in a weird place where it's kind of like an in-between set. It's got really niche cards in there. I could see where it could be reprinted again, but it's probably not it's not on the top 3 of the list for things that need to be reprinted. So, who knows? I don't enjoy playing the guessing game anymore because it's just no one ever knows, and it's really kind of silly just to try to predict this stuff because there's no way of telling what Pokemon is doing. I don't get any clues. Distribution apparently is in the dark still. What's going on? Nobody knows what's going on. So we're all just guessing. Everybody's guessing. Everybody says they have sources and secrets. No one knows. No one knows anything. All these people that say, "Oh, I heard from," they would have heard from the same places I would have heard from, and no one has said anything. So, listen to the people that are direct sources that deal with actual hobby distribution, not like big sellers that sell it for cheaper, but it's not actually distribution. They just buy so much of it they can get people a deal. That's not distribution, not an actual hobby distributor. And there's a lot of companies that just deal in so much product that they call themselves, oh, we're wholesalers, even though they're not. Pokemon publishes a list of all the official recognized distribution companies that they deal with, and a lot of these companies that say that they're distribution for these products are not. They just sell it in such vast quantities that they can get you like pretty close to actual distribution prices. So be careful about that kind of stuff. But again, no one knows anything. Like, we would catch wind of it. Pokemon would put out feelers to distributors for numbers, and as far as I know, no one's ever done that here in the past 3 months, and that's concerning. But yeah. Janelle Johnson, hello. Also interested in your knowledge on buy list buying. Seems like low end cards have margin potential. That's within my 2x 3x ideal. Maybe I missed a. You said also, so oh, you did say something. Let me go back. I think this model would work. Crack commander decks that have 2 to 3 times the profit, bulk the commons and uncommons for 10 cents, and have shipping and plus shipping. Does that allow you to lose money? No, yeah. Commander decks do have some chances to like crack and make money. There are products that do exist like that when they have just such crazy singles in there, or maybe a single might spike and become more meta and something that's really good. So yeah, there's opportunity out there, but I wouldn't go crazy and just scoop up a bunch of them. That seems kind of a kind of silly idea. As far as like buy lists, typically, I mean, the most sound way to do it would be for things that are more expensive, you pay better for, so that you are more aggressive and people are more likely to sell those things to you. And then you're less aggressive on cheap stuff. Like, for a $1 card, you don't want to be paying 50% on it, because by the time you go to ship it and factory shipping and time to package all that stuff and ship it yourself and slap a label on it and all that, it's not worth your time. So, you know, a lot of the cheaper stuff, that's why bulk rates exist, right? But for cheap things that are like less than $1, it's bulk. So you'll be having a flat price for that kind of stuff. So it makes sense for you to really, if you wanted to do the grind and sell commons and uncommons for 10 cents or whatever the price you think you can get for them, it's got to be, you got to have better margins than 2 or 3 times what you're paying on that kind of stuff, because it doesn't work out to be worth your time. It really doesn't. Yeah. And something like a 10-cent card, you want to be in it for like 1 or 2 cents, and then be moving a lot of it to make it make sense, or else you're just doing a whole lot of work for nothing. But thank you for the question. I appreciate, and I like the thought process of people coming to me and asking me questions of like, hey, do you think this is viable? Because there are plenty of opportunities out there for sure, but a lot of people seem to be focusing on bulk right now, and now is not a great time to be selling bulk. Just in general, and then with Pokemon, with rotation happening, all these cards that have a little bit of value are being losing a lot of value here very, very soon. Like the million cards I have in the back of my store that are just sitting there in boxes. There's plenty of cards in there that are $2, $3, $4, and I'm absolutely going to get destroyed on those and miss out because I'm not able to get through them in time. It sucks. So don't go too heavy into bulk unless you have a means to get through it and sell it at a reasonable pace, or it's just not worth it. Roma Sheets has a good point too. Like, of all the sets, if Astro gets reprinted, it's not going to be something that sells out immediately and flies away. So don't worry too much about missing out on Astro Radiance if it gets restocked, and it's not the most sought after set. So we're good. Angel Wing says again, responding to the pre-release, we have first time going to your store? Oh, okay. I've been going Fridays for Magic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's where all the Jinji Into's books went. See, that's on my list of things to restock because somebody bought them all, and I'm guessing you helped out on that, so thank you. No, that's awesome. I like I said, it's my favorite event. It's always fun to do. and I always look forward to them. They're the best. PokeShark says first ever pre-release will be for Scarlet and Violet. That's a big deal. Pretty cool. Pretty good. MTG Gaming Bob, hello. Hello. Yeah. Yes. I responded to your comment about Lorcana video. He says, I figured I was pretty rough on you about the Lorcana video, so I'm here to take any arrows you may have for me. Any arrows? I don't have any arrows for you. If you want to talk about it, I'd be happy to talk about it. But yeah, we're just hanging out for right now. It's like, I really have a hard time like arguing about a game that we don't even know anything about, or have any information, or like wholesale pricing information, or distribution, allocation. It's what are we arguing about? We're just speculating, and then we're just butting heads for no reason. I really don't have any interest in just getting all worked up about hypotheticals. So we'll just wait. Let's just wait and see, and then we can talk about it. Janelle Johnson says, "It'd be more hype for Lorcana. They showed IPs that Disney had, like Star Wars." Yeah, Star Wars is a weird property because they are licensed out to Asmodee, and they do a lot of like miniatures and tabletop stuff with Asmodee. I don't know if they would do a card game like that in Lorcana, or if they would just actually probably go to and do like a proper like TCG through that kind of stuff through Asmodee themselves, as opposed to just throwing it in Lorcana. It's kind of a wasted opportunity if you want to go really heavy into making a TCG about Star Wars. I think that'd be cool and it'd be a good opportunity. So, but yeah, what do we got? We got advertisements on the top of my freaking of the sky. Are they putting advertisements on the moon now? Jeez, what's? Oh, well. It'll probably go away in a minute. All right, it'll be fine. All right, what else we got? Max Davis says, any cool pickups at the shops this weekend? Yes. We had a Magic 1K at New Cut, so I know that we did buy and sell a lot of Magic, so that's exciting. I got a good Pokemon collection over at this new store just a couple hours ago, so I got some cool stuff to go through, so that's exciting. Always cool stuff coming in and out. Rick says Pokemon Day should be a national holiday. Are you aware of any specials anywhere to celebrate Pokemon Day? I don't, but it did have I did see in like my official brand folder that I use for like TCG like product pictures and stuff. They had a Pokemon Day 2023 logo for some reason, and I've never known them to do that before, so that's interesting. I don't know if it was like a hint or if like something's coming or what, but I thought it was interesting. Rabbit Squirrel, hello. Is Mason on Flat Earth? No, we're rotating as we go through space. So, yeah, no, I think it's we're probably just on a round object, just like everything else is round in the sky. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. No. Poke Department Store. Besides your store, of course, what's the coolest game store concept you see? There's a lot of different ways to run a game store for sure. There's lots of places that have restaurants or like coffee shops and stuff connected to and they've written like board games or have like play space or even do events in like a coffee shop or like a restaurant. That's kind of a cool concept. It's very expensive and it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things to keep on top of. I can't keep up with 2 stores and everything I got to restock and keep track of. It'd be crazy if I had to do food and worry about expiration dates and all that kind of stuff on that kind of. That's a nightmare. But like there's a couple that came down from Cincinnati that has a store up close to over there, and they do where it's just like tabletop, like D&D, and they have sessions and you pay basically for the session and you go in and they have, for all the DMs, they have just 3D printed, just hundreds of 3D printed stuff that you want to use for your campaigns and stuff. And they have like a world that they build, and all the DMs like contribute to the lore. So every game session that you play, it goes into like the lore of the world of the store. It's called Cerberus Den, if you want to look it up. That's the name of the store. And then like, if you die in the storyline, your character in the game will die, but you yourself retain all the levels and stuff that you have. So like, you level up as an actual person as you're playing, so you can start a new character and just carry over all the levels and just become somebody new in that adventure. So you don't lose anything. It's not like you're getting punished for dying or anything. It's you're rewarded for coming more frequently and leveling up yourself and getting attributes attributed to you as a person, as opposed to your player. It's kind of like, it's basically like a real life, in person, like role playing server. It's kind of crazy. But like at the end of the week, they'll do like a lore dump on their website, and through all the campaigns, all the DMs will like mark down what happened, and all the games will be interacting with each other, where it's all happening in the same world at the same time. It's crazy. Like I said, it's like a role playing server, but in person and like ever ongoing. It's really kind of like a cool thing. And they just opened up a second location, and so they're doing really well with it, and it's really weird. I'd like to like know how that works and how they like monetize it fully, like better than just the conversation I had with them. But it was an interesting concept, and it's really neat to see that there's more than one way to do what we're doing, right? And have a store that's something beyond just we sell TCGs and things, and people come in and play on the weekends, and then leave, and then they forget about us until next weekend. So it's really weird. It's really neat to see those types of opportunities like that. Rick Crispy says, ETBs are very cheap, Mason. Why wouldn't you crack and sell packs for the cheap ETBs like Fusion Astral? Because the price per pack for an ETB is actually higher than in a lot of the products. Like, I can still get build and battle kits, I can still get the bundles with the 6-packs in them, and all those things are still cheaper than going and getting an ETB, because ETBs have the built-in cost of the sleeves and the dice and all the other junk that's in there with them. So it's actually not cheaper to buy just ETBs, because for a lot of the packs I can get them still cheaper otherwise. Like I have to pay $25 for an ETB. If I get 8 packs out of that, that's over $3 I have to pay for a pack. So I that's not a good cost basis if I'm selling them for $3.99. Making less than $1 is really not ideal for booster packs. So there's better products out there to crack. General Johnson says, if I do stores, since I have a Lego online store, that's cool. I do Lego minis and Magic. 10,000 minifigures? Holy, that's a lot. No, that's I know minifigs are an actual thing, and yeah, a storefront with that would be interesting. And if you could have Lego and have the licensing for all that stuff, it'd be really neat. But yeah, I just struggle. If your 2 things you want to carry in a store is Magic singles or any singles and minifigures, you're probably already doing pretty well online, just as far as like things that are easy to ship and cheap, and things that are really light. You don't have to pay a lot to have them shipped. I guess my question to you would be, what are you gaining by having a storefront as opposed to just keeping it online and just selling online? I guess is really what the question I would be asking. Is what do you hope to gain by opening a store? Besides just like foot traffic and maybe like a better place for people to trade and stuff like that, I guess. What else I got? 70 people in here just hanging out with me, talking about just whatever you guys put out there. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. I had some orders to ship, but that ain't happening. I don't know why I try. I always get wrapped up in you guys. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. One Pineapple says your battle styles ETBs are selling. Yes, I sent a lot of those. We sent all of those to Amazon. Just fulfillment by Amazon, and they've been selling pretty regularly. I think we're down to like maybe 20 ETBs. So yeah, we don't make a ton that way, but yeah, it's pretty well. Yeah, and yeah, I crack whatever product I have that would be less likely to sell if I kept it together. So like building battle stadiums, ETBs are kind of a last resort unless I absolutely have to. Just because again, they're running an event with those. I'm not making any money at all. So if I can crack something else for packs, I'm gonna do that instead of that. Cardboard Empires, hello, Clay. How you doing? I haven't talked to you in a long time. We need to sit down, discuss the matters of the world. He says, Mason, you sponsor anyone? I sent a kid to Florida and Tennessee. I have a bunch of guys that went down from my Pokemon group to Knoxville, and they all had Cardinal hoodies on. So that was pretty cool. That was really nice. They got pictures with it. And, it really is cool to see, like, just a group of guys just having pride in their game store. And they said people are like, oh, God, Cardinal Gaming. I've heard of that. So there was people that like heard of the store and knew where they were from. So that's kind of a cool thing to have. But as far as like actually like paying people to go and like play to have my stuff on them, I don't see a lot of merit in it. Like, I guess if I ever got to a point like for somebody who was like streaming or something like that, that might be worth it. Paying some streamers, but to actually like to go to events and like pay for their hotel room or whatever, a lot of my local guys are going to go anyways. So and I'll support them and do what they what they want, help them out or whatever. But most of the time they're more than happy to just wear my stuff anyways, so it's cool. Lester says, I've heard anything about Evolving Skies? I have not. There are some Evolving Skies packs and things that other products. So, sorry, I lost my track. Here we go. But no, I haven't heard anything about Evolving Skies. God, it's got to come, right? I was talking about in my Moonrun video I did recently. About if reprints happen and what it would do to things, and I just think people still want that set so much that it'd be really, really hard to put any sort of price dent in something unless it was just like an absolute just destruction of the market where they just put out like hundreds of thousands of booster boxes worth of product. I mean, it'd take that much to probably move the price to be reasonable. And even then, people would still be grabbing them up and waiting, because as we've seen the past 2 times, right, that as soon as it gets limited and hard to find and product stock runs out, the price for that type of stuff specifically just goes crazy and it gets really expensive really fast. So it would take a lot to really bring those prices down. Corporate Empire says selling bulk is equal to welcome to the blender. Poke Department Store says, am I ready for taxes? Here I am trying to have a good time, and you're bringing up taxes? We talking taxes? No, we're not talking taxes. Yeah, taxes are a whole thing, and it's kind of we have a bookkeeper that keeps track of that kind of stuff for us. So they really help us out and keeping the book straight and doing payroll and stuff like that. So yeah. Where we at? Angel Wings apologizing for spending money in my store. We're good. That's not. I was just having fun. One of the hardback books. If you get different books, I'll definitely be in to buy them. Oh, all right. Every Ito book, I'm gonna buy it. You said you buy it. You don't have to buy it, but yeah. We got the posters. Those Ito posters in. Those are really cool. I don't know if you took a look at those, but they're pretty neat. Pikachu's in here. We are blessed with a Mason live. Yeah, like I said, we close early on Sundays now, so I might just hop in and do a live just for an hour, maybe. It'd be fun, right? Every Sunday? I have nothing else to do. Basic Train is saying, Card Empires, we need more video drops. Just any sort of video drop. I wasn't sure if you made it through winter, you know? I didn't know if you were alive. I know it can be harsh up there, but, you know, say something every once in a while. Speaking of Cardboard Empires, he says, I'm thinking of jumping ship on Yu-Gi-Oh! Little in-store sales and online is strong. I don't need the extra inventory. Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh is rough. Locally, it's rough too. It's really hard to get players in store, and I really kind of rack my brain how to get Yu-Gi-Oh players in, because it just seems like they don't want to come and play. I don't know if that has to do with the meta, the current meta, how the game is right now. I know it's not very healthy when it's 2 or 3 turns for a game to finish. That is a feel-bad situation, not a very healthy game state. So, I mean, if I was a Yu-Gi-Oh player and that was how things were, I would be, I'm out. I don't want to deal with that stuff. So it's kind of wild to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, we tried a lot of times to get events going and reaching out to people and saying, like, I reached out and tried to hire a Yu-Gi-Oh person to do card singles that had meta knowledge and some stuff, and the one person that applied didn't show up to the interview. So yeah, so like I what more can I do? That kind of stuff. So Dill's in here saying, sheesh, Mason live after locals. Yeah, man, just hanging out. Plapsadoodle. I was close. Probably didn't say it right, but hi Mason, hello. In your opinion, are vintage singles a better investment than modern singles? Why? That's so. It's such at the base core of that question. That's such a broad and dangerous question to ask. It's really hard. I can't answer that. I don't know. I have no idea. I would say if you are comfortable making an investment in anything, stick to things that you know is popular, things that you know traditionally do perform well, or especially if you're talking about vintage stuff that has traditionally kept price strong and was really good. But as far as like some secret to doing that, no, I don't have anything for you, unfortunately. I could not tell you which is a better path. And again, how long? The other thing that people always forget about factoring when you think about it, investing, is the time frame. Modern could be a really smart investment for a year, but long term, like, how is it going to do versus something else? That's impossible to know. That is such an impossible thing to answer. So it's really weird to try to give somebody advice or some information about stuff in such a broad topic because it's all guessing. Like it's really hard to answer. Um, B. I'm gonna say Thoj. I'm sorry. Let me know how you say your last name. I'd like to actually say it correctly, so let me know. Um, they ask, I've always been curious about this. How much does a patron have to spend at one time for a store owner to feel compelled? Compelled? Okay. To give that buyer a discount? I have people that have spent actual factual thousands of dollars in my store. A select group of people, 10 or maybe even tens of thousands of dollars in my store. And when I think about those people in my mind, they're obviously people that I greatly appreciate, like those that, and they're few and far in between. And every single one of those people that have spent that much money in my store have never, or very rarely, asked for any sort of discount. Traditionally, the people that want to support you and support you the most understand that if I wanted to show appreciation to you and take care of you, that I am doing everything I can in other ways rather than taking some price off the top. Does that make sense? They are much more gracious and much more appreciative of other things I can do for them as opposed to just giving them a better price on something. You know what I mean? So, just the fact that I know that they spend a lot of money with me, and that I'm gonna spend more time with them, or answer their questions more thoroughly, or just sit there and talk to them, and they appreciate that more than they would appreciate saving 5%, 10%, whatever. And I genuinely do think that is the case for a vast majority of those people that do spend money with us. So, I never feel compelled to give anybody a discount for spending money with me. I greatly appreciate them, like I said, but to feel compelled to give somebody a discount, you'd have to be. I can't give you a quantifiable amount. Like, if it was something like, hey, I want X amount of something, and maybe I go in special order for them. I do a lot of stuff like that. Or I go with special order something for somebody that maybe I don't have in store. I might give them a little bit of a discount, but that money is guaranteed to me because they're right there and right then they're going to pay me. So it's kind of like a no risk situation to do that for somebody. If I have to if they're just grabbing things off my shelf, the prices that are on my products should be what they're comfortable with paying. And like I said, for the highest top 10, top 20 spenders in my store, they are very happy and never or very rarely ask for any sort of discount or deal. So that's I don't know. Let me know, guys. You guys, let me know what you think about that kind of a thought. Stand by. Hold on. I'm looking, trying to see where I'm at. Oh, okay. I see where I'm at. Okay. Sergeant Blast Investments found 6 Crown Zenith ETBs at Walmart today for $50. Should I grab them? Probably not. ETBs are going to be reprinted. They have to be. Like, they are the flagship product for that. Think of like celebrations and how many like different dumps we had of celebrations. Pokemon is not dumb. They know Crown Zenith is going to be a very popular set and has been a very popular set. They will print more. That I can be sure of. It might be smarter to go out and grab the other types of things that are more limited, like I don't know, like maybe like the Pikachu VMAX boxes that maybe they aren't going to reprint those or something like that. Some of the more niche stuff, those might be harder to find long term if you want to like speculate on things, but yeah. C. Weaver Jr. says, we played Pokemon at a bar and restaurant last weekend, all fun and games, until rum was all over the cards. Yeah, I mean, that's the struggle, too, with like a food restaurant or something like that, is what if somebody spills a drink? If people are drinking heavily, what do you do if people start getting upset? Like, yeah, it's kind of a silly... it brings complications like that. Rick says, Mason, would you buy Brilliant Stars boosters at MSRP on Pokemon Center? No, I would not. Because I'm not going to sell Pokemon. I'm not going to sell a Brilliant Stars booster box. I'm going to sell packs from Brilliant Stars, so if I can get them cheaper somewhere else, which I can. Yeah. But again, my situation is different from your situation, so it kind of depends. Cardboard Investment says, no one wants to play GLC. I like GLC. I like the concept of GLC. I think it's really cool. It could be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people would have fun with it. It is kind of a bad barrier of entry. It kind of gets a lot of people. It complicates people a lot. You have to have good meta knowledge to like build a deck for GLC, and it'd be hard. It'd be hard to like get someone to casually want to play GLC. I'd have to have other people on top of my regulars that are already coming up and playing anyways. So it's rough. It's a rough format. It's fun for people that are like into it. If you like build a deck and like have it for people to play and use, they'll probably have fun with it and enjoy the format. But going out and building a deck yourself is more prohibitive than normal Pokemon. A lot like Commander. Commander is a bad format for newbies. it's easy to get into, and if you hand somebody a Commander deck, and say, here, play this, is basic how it plays, they'll have fun with it. But asking people to like, hey, go build a Tron deck, or a Tron Commander deck, good luck, to a new person, they don't even know where to start. So it's really the barrier of entry is with GLC is very hard, because it has the same construction, like actually, like being a singleton format. It is actually a format that takes a lot of knowledge and knowing what's out there to even start to build a deck that has some sort of concept to it. So yeah, if I had the decks to like play with, and I had them like in the store, and people just wanted to play it just for fun, or if people had it and they built them themselves for fun, it'd be one thing. But yeah, running events with it is really, really rough. Noiser? I'm going to say Noiser. Again, if it's wrong, correct me, please. Noiser Pixie? Again, help me, please. Thoughts on how to grow a reputable TCG player store from scratch? TCG Player is a very beginner-friendly place. The only place, or the only reason, or the only real barrier on TCG Player for a lot of people, based on just what the buyers are after, is price. If you sell something for cheaper than all the bigger guys, somebody's going to buy it, and they're going to give you feedback. On TCG Player, your feedback is automatic. If you go 12 days without a dispute, or 15 days, or whatever it is, you get feedback automatically for a lot of it. So unless something is wrong, you're going to get feedback just by doing the regular business of shipping and packaging products. So, if you have a bunch of mid-range things, or maybe some dollar cards you can throw up there and sell them, it's very, very easy to just rack up sales and orders quickly, and then if you ship them out in time and upload and do everything that you're supposed to be doing, you can get your TCG Player store up and running and being a good, reputable seller in relatively short time. Like it really doesn't take a lot. So I would say stick to your things that you can make money on, but like not super expensive, because it does get to be like a lot of sellers on there will have like an Umbreon alt art and that they're trying to sell, and they'll make a brand new account and have that one item on there and be like, here you go, it's super cheap, come buy it. And those may be legitimate, but they're new sellers and they have no feedback. So stick to like cheaper stuff, like your $5 to $20 range cards if you have that kind of stuff, or if you buy collections, or you just have maybe a collection yourself you're trying to sell. Like just stick with that kind of stuff and do that and ship it and take care of your customers and do everything you're supposed to do, and you'll get the feedback, and you'll move up through the seller ranks pretty quickly, and it'll be fine. So TCG Player is super, super easy to sell on, as long as you follow all the rules and are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Old Man Jake, hello. Mason, how would you rate Scarlet and Violet base set? Maybe in comparison to some of the Sword and Shield set. Scarlet and Violet is, my opinion. Don't. I mean, you can say things in the comment, but just don't come at me. Scarlet and Violet is probably the strongest base set of any generation we've had in the TCG, but that's not a very high bar, because there's not a lot of really great like base set TCG sets. I mean, you already have the alt arts going for you. You have the art rares and things like that. They're still staying around, and people love that stuff. All the other base sets didn't have that. Like, think of like Sun and Moon they had rainbow rares, and that was the new thing, was rainbow rares. Like, that was cool, but like, long term nobody really cares. And base sets in general, they only have the legendary Pokemon, and then they won't put out like the starters evolutions. They'll wait like another set because they don't want to spoil it for people that maybe haven't played the game yet, like the actual video game, because this TCG always comes out after the video game. So whenever there's a new like line, they don't want to like spoil that type of stuff to people, so they'll normally hold off and keep like the starter evolutions to like the second set, which I think is what they're doing for this set is too. But yeah, I mean, just as far as like a base set, it's super, super strong. Like, is it comparable to like some of the more hype Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield sets? No, it's pretty tame as far as like things that are playable and like meta breaking and stuff like that. The God of War EX is super strong, but it's like it'd be like the equivalent to like the Lugia V and V Star and Silver Tempest. Other than that, there's a couple things here and there that might be playable, but it's base sets are like pressing a reset button. It's not like it's a throw everything up all at once and this is like the best of the best right off the gate. You gotta ease us into the new format and the new type of doing things. Like the ultra rares being EXs that you have to evolve. That's a huge change from what we're used to, just slapping things down and just having big boys all the way from turn one. So it's going to be a learning curve that we have to really kind of ease into. We can't just throw it up and have all the best stuff in the base set. We got to ease into it. So it's base sets are always kind of weak, but Scarlet and Violet have a lot of cool mechanics and cool stuff and cool cards in it that are really good and strong. So it is definitely above average for a base set. MTG Gaming Bob says, we have created a new PvE format for Commander. That's cool. Yeah, that's a cool thing too. Like, I know that Flesh and Blood, I know, is really pushing like PvE and playing things in a group against like a single card or a monster that you can kind of beat up on together. It's kind of a cool concept for a card game. Just, you know, just a casual, different way of playing the game. So it's kind of neat. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's probably really hard to balance just because of how busted Commander decks can be. But it's cool. It's cool. B. Alexander 2 says, I like this video. I appreciate you guys liking the video. 91 of you guys hanging out with me and listening to me ramble about really nothing. We're not really anything and whatever. TC Family says, Mason, love your content. Hello. Thank you so much. I see you sent me a super chat too. Thank you so much. You absolutely don't have to do that. I appreciate you just hanging out. And if you're in a super chat, at least put me and make me do some work. And but I appreciate you saying hi and that you like the content. I appreciate you a whole heck of a lot. But yeah, make me earn any extra money that you want to throw at me. Team Rocket Joey says, I think it's funny how a lot of new people into Pokemon TCG hobby don't think that Sword and Shield era booster boxes will get reprinted. Yeah. And in the information age that we are in, where if anything happens, we kind of get an inkling of it happening, right? We kind of get predisposed to it a little bit earlier than typical. So most of the time, we have information that we would not have had otherwise. And with the run-up that Pokemon had recently, Pokemon themselves are doing things that are vastly different, and things that we've never would have even thought of or considered that they would do in the past. Again, reprints, as far as like them going back into the factory and reprinting sets, is relatively uncommon through the overall span of the TCG, other than like base set. Base set, we obviously know Shadowless and First Edition and all that stuff. Apart from that type of stuff, having sets go forward and then going back and reprinting something because it was needed is relatively new. It's not a very common thing for Pokemon in the span of its existence. We talk about Roaring Skies, not Evolving Skies, but Roaring Skies doing that. A set like Ultra Prism that had it almost too late to where the set was rotating before it got reprinted. We saw a lot of stuff with that. So yeah, a lot of the time the reprints are a new concept to what we've been seeing. Pokemon going back and printing a set like let's say if they went back and reprinted Evolving Skies again, I guess, sure, let's just do that one. That would be relatively unusual in the history, but here recently, it's not uncommon. The demand for these products are so high that they have to do that to keep prices down and simply to make more money. Like, that's they are selling through the product that they normally spent time, an allocated allotment of time to print so much product, and then it's all gone. So they have to go back and make more money. That's like happy day, right? But with that comes complications and makes things really hard to juggle around if you're trying to reprint or print new stuff, and then you have to go back and reprint other things in front of it or behind it, or maybe stop production for something for a couple weeks to get things back up to speed and make it to where they're definitely producing more product now than they've ever have, right? Something like the 20% of all Pokemon cards have been printed like in the past 3 years or something. Like, that's crazy. Like that's so much production that they've ramped up over the 25 years of producing cards. It's kind of unprecedented. It's kind of unusual stuff. So, to speculate and guess what they're going to do, I have no idea. I don't know if they know. Up until production times and when it goes to print, maybe 6 months beforehand. And all this stuff is and we've seen that it takes that long to basically go from finished planning of a set to actually producing the cards and printing the cards and having them packaged into products. It takes that long. But obviously the planning stage takes much more longer. But we'll just say from the finished set construction to printing itself is about a 6 month window. And obviously if you have all that stuff already done, it's just a matter of flipping the printers over and loading that type of stuff into the printer. But there's still a lot of unknowns with printing in general, and we've never been very privy to how that works, ever. Like we just don't get told that stuff, and for good reason. But point is, I do think they'll go back and they'll reprint stuff. They can make more money. If they can go back and make more money, they will. That just makes sense. Pokenaz. Hello, Pokenaz. Mason, what are the chances they reprint Sword and Shield before April? Before April? It's March already. Like, if we were gonna get, we'll say booster boxes, because you talk about booster boxes. If we were gonna get booster boxes, there had been some sort of information from Pokemon to distribution about, hey, we have this product coming to you. Like, it is being allocated and wrapped and shipped to you. That takes lead time. There's weeks of getting things together and the product together and palletizing it and stuff like that. That takes a while. Like, they're not gonna get stuff ready to go off the printers in April, or off the printers right now, and have it ready to ship in April. It takes a little bit longer to get that going. So, a percent chance that we get booster box reprints before mid-April. Let's say a 30% chance. I don't want to say it's impossible, and I don't want to say that they don't just throw a bunch of stuff at distribution, which would be happy to take it. I'm sure they would love to have Evolving Skies and Burning Stars and all these other sets that they can instantly just put on the website and it'll sell out instantly. I'm sure they would love to be able to put those numbers up and take that money. But yeah, I'm gonna say 30% by mid-April. There is a chance that we see all that stuff with Scarlet and Violet, and they're gonna ship it all at once, and they're all gonna get out at one time. Absolutely possible. I forgot Scarlet and Violet is in April. Let's bump it up. Let's bump it up to 50% chance. So I think there is a shot. There's a shot by mid-April that we see more product of booster boxes of Sword and Shield. Sure. Yes. 60%. No. I'm kidding. I have no idea. There's a decent chance. Corporate Empire said good night. So deuces, goodbye. Pokemartin's here. Hello, what's up? Endev has good advice. Just evade your taxes. CJX, hello. Hey, Mason. When do you think in the right moment... when do you think in the right moment to crack sealed product to profit as singles in any TCG? The best time to crack sealed product to make money is before the set releases. Like way before the set releases. As soon as you get product in your hand, if you want to bust things to make money off of sealed product and sell the singles, as soon as possible. As soon as humanly possible. That's the only way, and when you're going to make the most money, is if you do it that way. So, yeah. And we've been doing that with a lot of Magic sets here recently. Getting product in and having singles available on release. Since the pre-release window for Magic is kind of... It's closed up to being where basically pre-release weekend is just release weekend for game stores that are WPN, which is awesome. That's a very nice gesture that Wizard of the Coast did. I can sell singles, I can sell booster boxes, I can sell commander decks, all that stuff before Big Box should have them. But sometimes they still beat us getting that stuff out. Just, it happens. Andy on Guam says, do you predict any Sword and Shield booster reprints after Silver Borders? The Silver Borders have no impact on whether or not they reprint yellow bordered cards. It is a matter... These are machines that are multifaceted and are able to produce any myriad of printing products in each quarter. Any quarter. Cardstock, any sort of hollow design, embossing, texturing. These, you're talking like $100 million machines. They would have no issues going from silver to yellow to silver to yellow. It doesn't matter. Like, these machines are so the best, highest quality machines that you can buy. They can produce them if they want to. It makes no difference. Now, the silver borders do matter in the fact that it's a different hollow pattern, so they have to go back and get the other hollow pattern and produce the other hollow pattern. But it shouldn't be an issue. Like, that type of stuff exists just as much as anything else. So, yeah, it's that whole thing about, once we get silver border or gray borders, they can't go back and print yellow. That logically doesn't even make sense when you stop and think about a business industrial sized, like, top of the line printer that all these things are printed on. That doesn't make sense. Like, whoa. Pikachu says, what are you using to stream 1080p at 60 FPS? I'm loving this quality. I do have, like, my bitrate, like really maxed and crazy. And it probably is not helping with the insane background I have going. But I'm glad it's going good quality. For as much as I pay for internet here, I should probably have, like, a direct satellite link to Google itself. But, yeah. That's good. As good as quality. I like it. Sergeant Blast Investments, do you think they're going to print Crown Zenith into the ground like Shining Fates? I think the general, like, demand for Crown Zenith is so good, and will be for a long time, that it would be hard for even if they print, like, equal levels, that Crown Zenith would sell out before the Shining Fates would. I don't really like Shining Fates. I think that's not, like, a hot take either. There's not a lot that's memorable about Shining Fates. Not a lot sticks out. And if I had to choose one or the other, I think most people, if they had to choose between one or the other, they would choose Crown Zenith, just because the art is so awesome and cool. So, Uh, it would take a lot. But again, time and as things move on and we move on to different stuff and cool things and all that up in the game and new arts and new stuff, it is going to get stale and people are going to want to move on and just, you know, buy something else. But yeah, I think that Crown Zenith just inherently has more demand thanks to the great new innovation of alt arts. So. Allman says, I'll take your Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the current meta. Good. I'm glad somebody does. But I was trying to watch somebody play it the other day, and I just... I got lost. It was really rough to try to understand and try to follow. I'm also not good at math, so there's a lot of math with Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd have to write this stuff down. I can't keep track of it in my head. I need help. But... if you're having fun, I mean, I guess it's got to be working because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still very strong, and the market and sales for it are very strong still, so somebody must enjoy it. Rick Crispy says, still selling MetaZoo. I think I sold my last UFO box the other day. I did not buy any Seance, so I don't know the sales on that. But I do know, you know, Seance is holding up pretty strong. It's not too bad, price-wise. So, yeah, I've been kind of impressed with how they've been faring as far as like box prices and things. It's pretty cool. Pokinaz says, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like a soccer game where you play only penalties. Okay, that's pretty fair. I like that. It's pretty neat. Alman says, I definitely understand why people wouldn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! The learning curve is intense. Yeah, it is, for real. Timo Main, hello. I've been asking about buying your ETB sleeve for 2 months now. Can we strike a deal? I don't know. I sell like that stuff in store a lot, and sometimes I'll be like, eh. For every time I think about like dumping something, I think of like, well, I can just put it in the store and like somebody will grab it for $2 a piece. I mean, they're not great sleeves, but they're better than nothing, right? And a lot of people will buy them just if they're priced decently. So I mean, $2 an ETB sleeve as opposed to like selling them on like eBay for like $5 or $6, and you have to ship it and the fees and all. I'm just gonna make the $2, I guess. You know, it makes more sense. Janelle Johnson says, big spenders don't ask for discount, and even when I give giveaways, they could care less. They want customer service and efficiency and timing. Yes. Repeat customers they like going to your business because of how your business is ran. And price is a factor, but it's not like the only factor they care about. And some people are happy paying up a little bit if they know that they're getting better service than they could go if they just go to the cheapest place. To a lot of people, and some people are like that, where they are independent enough and they don't need a lot of direction, and they, you know, if they want to know something, they can look it up themselves, and they don't want to bother you know, asking questions or sitting down and learning. They're just going to go out and learn themselves. And the internet has helped us with that and not needing as much assistance, but there are still plenty of people out there that say, you know, walk in not knowing anything about the products that I sell, just knowing that I sell them, and looks for recommendations and things. So a lot of the time, the walking in and asking like, hey, I have 2 kids that are 10 and 12. What's a good board game that they would have liked to and have fun with? And even though they might be able to buy that board game cheaper somewhere else, because I was able to help them make a decision and make that kind of interaction where they can understand and know that they're getting a better chance of getting a product that they would enjoy and their family would want to play, that's worth paying the extra little bit, whatever it is. And that's, I mean, some people just enjoy the social interaction, and that alone is enough to just pay a little bit more. Or they just enjoy like going to the store and just looking around and seeing things and meeting people there and going and playing in events and meeting with like-minded people. There's a lot of good social and other value aspects to a business and a game store that, yeah, you may pay a little bit more. In fact, I would say that you probably should be paying more just because of the amount of service. And yes, maybe for most of you out there watching this right now, there's not a lot of value being added. And if you get it cheaper elsewhere and you know what you want and all that, there's not a lot of purpose or reason to walk into a game store. And that's fine. Like, you are not my client base, I guess is the way to say it. It's just because you know are skilled enough to not need to go into a game store, and you're more bargain hunting at that point because you know what's good, what's bad, what's a good price, what's a bad price, all these things. So yeah. But there is a service and a value aspect that physical stores give, and the community aspect that stores give, that a lot of people are actually more than happy to pay a little bit more just to experience. So Almond says rich people don't need discounts, non-rich people do. Sure. But I think that's a misnomer, that just rich people really need our big spenders. I know people that spend lots of money and they work a warehouse job or at UPS here locally, and they make a decent living, but they're not rich, and they spend lots of money with us, and that's just what you want to spend on your hobbies and your living conditions and what you can afford, and it's different. It's different, Over the Brick, hello. We do reward loyal customers by giving them opportunities to buy limited sets ahead of others. Yeah, I mean, a lot of places do that. They'll take care of the most loyal and the people that they know would be interested in something, they'll go to first and offer it up. So Timo Main says LGSs act like you're asking for their firstborn when you ask for a discount. No, you're not asking us for our firstborn. You're asking for us to make less money because we're selling you something. So when you ask me to give you a discount on something, it's not like I paid less for that product so I can pass it on to you. You are actually factually just taking money from me, and I'm supposed to just give that to you because that's a weird relationship to have with any sort of business. Dylan Schmidt's in here saying, "Oh my God, it's Mason." It is. Yeah, Over the Brick. If you guys don't know, Over the Brick is if you follow Rattle Pokemon and the type of coverage that he does, Over the Brick is here in the chat and is the store that was highlighted on several videos now. So yeah. Sunny Cal John, hello. Do you stock any anime cards in your store, or mainly Magic, Pokemon, and such? We do. We do stock. I try to stock anime properties. You know, Weiss, like Attack on Titan. I do stock the. Oh god. Oh, My Hero TCG. I stock a couple of boxes and packs of that kind of stuff. And I just buy it, you know, back when we sell out of it. I don't really do a whole lot with it. I just have it available for people that, you know, like the property or like the anime or whatever. They can pick up some cards and just think they're neat and buy those. So I don't go too heavy into too many other things than Magic and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And like I said, Flesh and Blood. That's our big four that we sell primarily cards of. Team Element says, that's why I exclusively buy Pokemon cards online. All the others around here are out to scam you. Yeah, but when you're buying online, you're buying from an LGS most of the time. So, but that's fine. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, like a lot of you guys are more educated and independent than and more skilled than a lot of customers. But if you think that walking into a store and looking at singles does not have any merit to it, I guess watch some of my other videos and why I explain why walking into a store is helpful and how you can get information and knowledge and learn things like when new things are coming and what release schedules are looking like and what stock and allocations are looking like for things. All these things you can ask your local game store and they'll be able to answer you and help you. So there is helpful things that you can gain. And if you're looking at cards to grade and send into a PSA or CGC or whatever, if you go to a store and you go in person, you can look at the card before you have to order it online. And you can decide right then and there whether or not it's going to do well in a grading. And maybe you have to pay a little bit more, but you have eyes on the item as opposed to just buying it blindly on like TCG Player. So there's merits that going into a store kind of helps out. Old Papa Bear, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you, Zach. How far out do y'all make deals with distributors? Any idea what the Lord of the Rings MTG set is going to look like for y'all this early? My store has been slacking with MTG for months. I don't want to miss it. Yes. When they announce things like that, it's like dropped on distribution websites like the same day. So we don't really have like any like privy information as far as like pricing, like the new Commander Masters. They just keep combining words together. I don't know. I think it's Commander Masters. The next thing that's coming down for Magic, for the big Master set. That type of stuff is like we don't know anything about it before you guys do. These days, it's just. And if we did, like, it'd be leaked somewhere. Or there'd be a YouTube video about it, or Alpha Investments would say it, and then everybody would know. So it's, yeah, we all know the same things as soon as you guys do. So, no idea about allocations, how much there's going to be, if you should be pre-ordering it or not, or be worrying about that kind of stuff. I have no idea. So, we don't get any sort of like numbers for Magic, at least from my main distributors with the Southern Hobby. We don't have any sort of numbers or an idea of what's coming until about a month before release. So like I just got Scarlet and Violet numbers back, and it releases in the end of March, and I just got them now, here recently, so it's been right around a month. So that's going to depend on other distribution companies, but that's how Southern works most of the time. But yes, all the sets look super expensive. Yeah, they're probably going to be in demand, and hopefully that they do a little bit better with getting that type of product out there. Better than what they did for like the 40Ks, Commander decks and stuff like that. Maybe we can get a little better idea of how much we're getting beforehand, and we can all be better informed and being able to make decisions like that. Garen M is here. Hey everybody, hello. All man asking about Cardfight Vanguard. I'm sorry, we used to follow a lot of Cardfight Vanguard stuff, but we don't anymore. Timo Main is saying MTG is anti-LGS and only money greeters. I say this on a regular basis, so this isn't like anything new. Wizards of the Coast actually does a lot for LGSs, and I think they take a lot more heat than what they probably really need to. Yeah, they've made some pretty crazy and silly mistakes, but yeah, it's they get a lot of hate, and a lot of it's unwarranted, and a lot of it is drummed up by people like Alpha Investments and people that are just drama channels for Magic, and it's kind of getting to be where that's like the consensus, and a small handful of people are making that decision for the rest of us, whereas we should all just be talking amongst ourselves and deciding together whether or not we support or don't support something, as opposed to just waiting for a sensationalist YouTube video and basing all of our feelings on that instead. Old Papa Bear says Wizards is definitely losing support. Timo Main says Magic is a fast dying game. I have sold more Magic in the past 2 months than I've probably sold in the last half of 2022. So Magic is very far from dying. It is very active. People are buying more than what they have in a very long time. We constantly sell out of even high value product like the collector's boxes of new sets. Brothers War, Fire Extra will be one. All those sets have done very well for us. And the players themselves enjoy the formats and enjoy the sets right now. So obviously everybody's taste is different, and locally you may have not as much demand or less support or sentiment about it, but for us and what we've been seeing, we've never seen as many players as we have. People that show up and want to play, and people that are interested in Commander, and people that are buying product. And honestly, that's what I base all my decisions off of, and whether or not a game is healthy. And that to me means that Magic is in a better place than what they were 6 months ago. Timo Men says, don't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Too much either due to greediness and zero prize support. Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a difficult game to run an event for and get people interested in running an event, because in order to be a Konami Play Store, you cannot do cash events, which is not what most card players want. You can't have the OTS packs, which people want, unless you have an active player base, because you have to report events that you're running events and people are showing up with their IDs. You have to submit that in order to get OTS packs to run events with. But if you don't have a player base, you can't run and submit reports. So how are you supposed to get a player base built up if you can't get OTS just as a baseline? It's a bad system that doesn't really work. And I can't just be like, hey, let's do a 1K event for Yu-Gi-Oh! And see if we can get a player base built up. I can't even do that because I can't do cash events if I want to be a Konami store. That's what is killing and making Yu-Gi-Oh! Less enticing, I guess, to run events for, and it's harder to support because I have to have OTS packs. That is what players want. Yet, I can't get that stuff unless I have a player base. It's kind of silly. Ancient Muse here. Hello. Mason, do you think Scarlet and Violet will have a card that sells for 12k in a black label at some point? You said LOL, so I'm going to say LOL as well. Probably not. There's a lot of beautiful cards. I love the Arcanine from the set with the white background and the Terraform. I think it's really cool looking. I like it a lot. But yeah, I don't think anything is going to be 10k or 12k in a black label. Almond says Yu-Gi-Oh is catching strays tonight. I haven't even talked about how stinky the players are. I haven't even talked about that. Old Papa Bear says Hasbro stock is down because they're crap with D&D. Sure, yeah. They have said some really dumb things and have made some really dumb decisions, and they are paying for it. See, the good thing about that is that they have accountability to investors to correct those things and make the correct decision. So people that are actually upset and not buying the product, that's actually doing something, and you can force their hand this way. Whereas somebody like a smaller company that does something silly, you can't really force them to do anything. But this actually works. Like, voting with your wallet actually works with a big company like Hasbro because they have people to account to. So it does make a difference. Somebody count emo going back and forth, talking. Yeah. TG Famous says this Q&A has been awesome so far. Glad I'm helping. Gaming Tech United. Hello. Hey Mason, love the channel and the content. The work you've put into sharing your point of view of the industry is so interesting. You're a great advocate for the industry. Sometimes I will always tell people to take a good long look if you want to do anything like a game store or a business based in this hobby. Really do your research, really think about it, really consider what your options are. But so I'm not I would say I'm a great advocate in that regard, but I do it with good intentions and with trying to help people and to help people understand how this stuff works. And sometimes it's not very easy, but I'm trying. So I appreciate you saying that I'm at least trying, and I'm trying to help out. TCG Family says, loving Magic while hating Hasbro is where I find myself today, sadly. Whereas Pokemon is just good vibes. Yeah, I mean, even with the product shortages and all that, yeah, Pokemon is still super healthy, a super good place. Every aspect of it is still doing well. People are still happy about it. People are still enjoying it. I mean, people in the chat right now just reading this kind of stuff and seeing that people are seeing the same kind of thing with Pokemon, that helps. All this stuff is really good and helpful for getting information and getting a vibe check of how everything is doing. So I think Pokemon is still good and is still a lot of fun to a lot of people. So that's good. Timo Main says Pokemon just cares more. I think there's a lot of people creating all the TCGs that care a lot. I think like the designers, the people that are coming up with mechanics and putting in the effort of like the overall design and aesthetics and the creative aspects of all these TCGs. They're trying and are working really, really hard, and they're super passionate. I know a lot of people on design teams and playtest teams and gameplay mechanic teams and people that work on that type of stuff. They are the most dedicated, the most passionate, the most excited for all this stuff to come out and for people to see what they've been working on. People that love the TCG and work on that, it shows from all those people. But they're also like the most hurt when people are upset because they take it personally. It's like their baby. They created that, and even though it's not even in their control of what the higher ups decide, they feel it because they see a set not selling well or something that they worked very hard on not doing well for other reasons than that. That's a feel bad for sure. It sucks. So, it can be hard to support a game that's doing and functionally is doing a lot of cool stuff and interesting things when the company itself is going in a bad direction overall. It's not their fault. Goodbye, TCG family, if you're still here. I think you just left, but I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks for the super chat, like I said. David Burr says, do you plan on carrying Lorcana when it comes out? Yes. Yeah. I just did a recent video. If you haven't seen it, it's on my channel. If you want to go check out. I talk about Lorcana a little bit and just what we know so far about things on distribution size, which is not a lot. But I think it's a pretty good video about my thoughts on it so far. It's super early still. Don't know a whole lot about it. Again, distribution does not have a lot of information about how it works and pricing and stuff. So, but yes, I think it's going to do very well at first, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But yes, I do plan on going and getting what I can for it. I would assume it's going to be very hard to find right out of the gate, so it's probably going to be expensive. So, but we'll see. Ornander says, I wish Ravensburg would release some gameplay for Lorcana. I think they were talking about in early summer. They're going to do, I think there's a couple of conventions they're going to. I'm sure at like Gen Con and places like that, they're going to have a booth with gameplay and stuff. People try it out and stuff. So I'm sure it'll be out there and we'll see it very, very soon. The F. Hey, how we doing? It says, hi Mason, our store just got approved for Play Pokemon League. How long did it take for you to host your first pre-release event? I'm assuming our store skipped the window for Scarlet Light. Yes, yeah. Normally those are done very far in advance. Normally right around one set is releasing is when they start kind of ramping up and having the window open for the next set. So yeah, you are too late for Scarlet and Violet, but hopefully the next set we still have some time till I get an email about that. But then you'll go in and you'll say I think you can request a certain amount, or they might even like set you at a bottom amount. I think like 60 kits or something. I think is what the floor is. Maybe it's 40. I don't remember. But and then they'll ask which distributor you want to go through and stuff like that. But keep up with reporting. Keep up with if you have events firing and then people coming in and playing. Make sure you go into your back end on Pokemon and add that information. You have to go and add players in the back end. So make sure that you do all that kind of stuff so that they see that you're running events and that they'll approve you for more stuff, the more players that you get on a regular basis. So really stay up on that, keep on top of that, make sure you enter all the players and make sure they have play IDs, which is important for tracking that stuff. That's how they make sure that you're not just making stuff up. Keep track of all that, having the system and the tournament software. And then, even though that is supposed to be uploading tournament information, you have to go again in the back end. And they'll send you emails when to do it, but go in the back end and upload. It'll say their Pokemon ID, first name, last name, and then their birthday. You'll want to do that, and you'll go back and fill all that information in. And then that's how you get credit, basically, for hosting events. So it's kind of convoluted right now. Hopefully they'll get it to where you just have to just run this tournament software, and they can pull that information from your tournaments. But for now, we're having to do it kind of like double duty, basically. It's kind of a bummer. Hopefully it'll get easier. See where it says they just ran out of yellow ink? They're not going to silver borders? Yeah. Silver is cheaper than yellow ink, guys. Of course. That's why they did it. I've heard that from a lot of people, too. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, what? Sonny Cow John says, Lost Origins was my first set as an adult and I hated it? You hated Lost Origins? What? I love Lost Origins. I thought it was very cool. I love the Lost Zone mechanic. I think it's very neat. What Papa Bear talk about is Gengar collection. Oh, I skipped around a little bit. Sorry. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Oh, I'm way behind, guys. I'm sorry. I thought I was keeping up pretty good. Apparently, I'm not. We will move a little faster. All right, keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. Pokemon Fun saying Pokemon Center dropped Evolving Skies booster boxes last 3 weekdays. Thoughts? It's probably not a lot, and then it sells out within 10 minutes, so not huge. It's not like I don't take it as like a sign that reprints are coming or anything. I think it's just them clearing off a palette or whatever. I don't know, but. Yeah, I don't think it's, I don't think it means anything, unfortunately. I wish it would. Arnold the Baker says, Hey Mason, I really enjoy your video on Umbreon, VMAX, Altart, good perspective on the state of the Pokemon TCG. Yeah, it's not like it's super groundbreaking or anything crazy as far as like information that people may not know, but it really is, and it's in a league of its own as a card, and just watching it sell and buy the sale, the graded prices versus the raw prices versus all that stuff is super interesting, and really just speaks to just the actual demand, like the genuine demand for that card. It's just, it's unlike anything that is currently. Nothing else touches it, even in modern or anything. Like, I think the other day, me and Basic Trainer were talking about, and we compared it to like the modern day or just modern version of a Charizard. Like it's our base set Charizard, or the generations today base set Charizard. And as far as like popularity and like demand and pricing, it all checks out. Like all that makes sense. So, what do you guys think in the chat? What do you think is the Moonbreon like the modern day base set Charizard? Let me know, and I'll get to it in like 2 hours. I'm kidding. I'm trying to go faster. Travis Norris says, Mason, with the new MSRP, do you think it will affect the pack break channels in a negative way? These channels are at a premium, and they seem to only be going up. Is Pokemon trying to price them out? I don't know if they're trying to price them out. That's an interesting thought. No, because they'll just raise their prices too. I don't think that has a whole lot to do with it. I think price breaking channels and people like watching those channels and watching that kind of stuff kind of even conditions them to the higher price already. So when they go to, and they're going to see a price increase from $4 to $4.50 now, it's going to be like, oh well, Whatnot was selling, Astral Radiance for $5 as it was, so this is still a deal. But yeah, I don't know if they're. I don't know if that's the goal. I don't think Pokemon cares. Pokemon just wants to sell more packs and make that money. All Papa Burr says it's always worth the extra $1 to buy at an LGS. It's a great community to have around. Honestly, couldn't say if I'd still collect MTG if it wasn't for Cardinal. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it adds enjoyment to it for sure. Fat Belly Click says, "Can you sell me Evolving Skies for free?" I actually physically can't. Besides just me wanting to do that, which I don't, but I actually physically can't do that. Kyle Swift says, "Hello." Hi, Kyle. Sergeant Blast Investment says, "How are your Scarlet and Violet allocation numbers looking?" Oh, I didn't even talk about that, did I? Jeez. My booster boxes got cut by 40% what I asked for. So, looks pretty rough on booster boxes. I don't know what the thought is with that, or if that's just the way it is right now. I thought for this base set we would have a lot of product, and I would have gotten all that I asked for. I didn't ask for a crazy number. I thought I was a pretty reasonable number compared to what I've been buying. And if we don't get restocks like we haven't been getting, like with Silver Tempest, there was a huge wave of restocks. Lost Origin had a little bit of slush left over, but sold out pretty quickly too. I'm trying to get as much as I can at the first wave, on release, so that I have enough to last me, for a month or 2 months or however long it takes, for us to see any more product. But the amount that I got, I don't think I'm going to have enough as it is for the month, let alone have any sort of secret backlog that I can tap into when I can't get any more. It's kind of surprising how badly I got cut. And then ETBs were, I think I got 75% of what I asked for, so it's kind of in line with that. And I got probably a bigger number than I normally get for the ETBs, just because there's 2 different versions. So I like having the different versions, and then people are more likely to buy the 2 different versions because they want one of each. So yeah, I bought more than I typically do of the ETBs, but not a crazy number either, I don't think, compared to what I have been. Trevor says, do you think Pokemon will ever reprint some of the recent sets, or do you think they're going to go in on the printers only making silver borders? I don't know how or when this question came in, so sorry, but I did talk about that just like 10 minutes ago. If you want to go back and re-listen, basically, short version is it takes no effort to switch these $100 million machines from one thing to the next. Just takes a little bit of time, and as apart from having to change out the hollow patterns and then do that extra little step of stuff, physically printing the cards, it doesn't make any difference between silver and yellow borders. Fat Belly Click says, do you do anything with CCGs like Marvel or Star Wars? No, not really. Just not. It's not something that I'm really known for. We don't do a lot with Marvel and Star Wars to begin with. We're a lot more just gaming focused, so things like video game properties and stuff like that. Less so like on the comics aspect, and I think of Star Wars as like a comics property as well, even though it's not really, but the same kind of demographic kind of likes those types of things, and this is not what we've built our store to do. We probably could do comic books if we wanted to, but yeah, we don't do comics. We just did, me and Zach just didn't have any knowledge in comics, so we didn't have that be a part of our business. Maybe if I had like a really good knowledgeable person about with comics, we might get into it and do something with it, but no one on current staff has any sort of knowledge that would be that I feel comfortable buying and selling, that kind of stuff, so we don't do anything with it. And the CCGs, again, it's just, if I dealt with that kind of stuff, I would carry the CCGs just because, again, people see the properties and they just think it's cool and they want to open up some cards with it, but otherwise I don't. Okay, there we go. Iron Bank Gaming was bringing up the $500 draft and set boxes. Yeah. All these new crazy Magic draft and set boxes. The IPs connected to them, they're supposed to be just fine. Why they cost more money to do. Yeah. That part of it is what it is. But yeah, it's just, that's super expensive. Like that is $500 for a set box is unreasonable. I genuinely believe. Like, it better have just insane stuff in it, because the property alone isn't going to sell that box. Not at $500. That's a lot. That's a big ask. So it's kind of crazy. Mike is asking what allocations look like. I just did that. Hopefully you were here and heard that, Mike. I appreciate you asking, though. Tech Priest. Even reselling product is a nightmare sometimes. You're one of the more honest folks when it comes to running a business like this. I say a lot of things that probably just a lot of people just don't talk about. Yeah, like selling steel product is like a big pain in the butt, because, you know, no matter where you sell it on, if you don't sell it locally, you lose 10-50% off of the fees. Then for something like a booster box or something like that, it's £2, so you got to ship it in a box, and that's another like $10, up to like $12 depending on where you ship it. So yeah, it's a lot of money. Just, you lose off the top of that. So when people think of like, oh, I can buy this for $40 and sell it for $60, all your profit is right there. Like, you're just losing a bunch of money. So yeah, it's selling product is kind of hard, especially sealed product and stuff like that. Like booster packs, selling a loose booster pack, it's impossible. Like, it's not worth it. You may as well just you know, just like do whatnot and just sell it on there, because by the time people pay for shipping and all that stuff, it's not worth it. Travis Norris says, I missed the lab coat videos. I took the lab coat home to do wash it really good because I had like some ink stains in the pocket. So I went and took it home and washed it, and then I've just never brought it back here. Or else I probably would like whip it out for some videos, but I do miss that jacket. I need to bring it. We do pre-release. I like to wear it at pre-releases, so I'll probably have it for a pre-release. I'll make sure I bring it. Iron Bike Sammy says, sadly, even buying singles right now sucks due to the increased cost of the boxes in general. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, but if the boxes are expensive, that means you can sell the singles for a lot more. It's just like, that's not always how it works. It's like, life cycles of products, if, like, there's a reason why, like, even though team-up boxes are super expensive, all the singles in it aren't relatively expensive to that product. It's just like, yeah, you can't just, it's very difficult to like open sealed product and make money. I would say anything like that's not just brand new, it's damn near impossible. So yeah, it's rough. And you know, if people are buying a product and they're not getting good value of that product, it's not incentivizing to open it because there's less chance for them to profit because it's so expensive. So yeah, it's kind of demoralizing to a lot of people when they see a $140 booster box when the best card you can pull is like a $200 card, like Silver Tempest, for example. There's not a lot of incentive to want to open that product when there's a single card that's worth above the box price. It's just not. Wes Bragg is here. Hello, how we doing? XD Memes. Do you think Scarlet and Violet booster boxes will have a down period after release? I don't know. After seeing the allocations and knowing, just trying to use the history to try to predict the future, right? And how the last couple sets have released, we've always seen, and we've definitely seen it now, all these online businesses selling cases of stuff, and they're making like $20 a case, and it's just like, how or why are you doing that? And a lot of it is just, you know, trying to get money up front to pay for the things, and then once those guys sell out all their stuff and it all disappears, typically we've been seeing a little run up after release. It really comes down to how healthy this first little wave of product is, and then if there's a leftover amount that they can then push forward and out to everybody after initial release so that we get a restock. That makes a big difference. How product is distributed and how we can play with our numbers really has a good impact about how expensive a product gets out of the gate. If I got cut 40% off my numbers and you know, everybody else maybe got the same treatment, it could be a very similar situation that we saw with, like I said, the past couple sets where booster boxes went up come release week and the weeks after, just because product could be drying up and we could be seeing less and less of it available to a lot of people. But I don't know. It's hard to know. It's really hard to do any sort of predicting like that, especially this far out. I think booster boxes are what? What are booster boxes on TCG Play right now? Let me see. We're gonna go Pokemon. We're gonna do pre-release. We're going to Scarlet and Violet. Booster box on TCG Player right now is $120, and I am paying $98 from distribution, or $95, somewhere in there, whatever. So, good old Card Rush here with 138 boxes. They have to pay $10 to ship it, and they're setting TCG Player 17% in fees. So 120 times point, that'd be what, 87? That means they're selling it for 104.40 after fees. And if they ship it to somewhere across the country, that's going to be minus 11, let's say $12. That is $92.40 that Card Rush is making on TCG Player right now, a month before the set releases. Like, again, I'm paying like 95, 98 or whatever for these booster boxes. It doesn't make sense. And then how TCG Player works is that everybody's automatically kind of matches the lowest price without even thinking about it. So it's just kind of like, you know, Card Rush is a huge company. Like they buy tons of product, probably pallets of product from distribution. And you can't tell me that some of these other places that are trying to compete with them are able to make these margins. And they're going to be making, if they go to match the lowest listed on TCG Player, they're going to be losing money after fees and shipping. So, it's really hard to understand, and it doesn't make sense to me. And even like, why Card Rush would be on here, just dumping products. Even if they do make $1, $2, it can't be that much better than what I'm paying. They're not buying Pokemon booster box for $70, you know. It's kind of silly. Rayrod says, what point of sale system do we use? We use and have used a lot. We've bounced around a lot. So we use a system called Fulcrum right now. They are really good with like used video games and trying to like compare with like to GameStop and try to price match and beat GameStop. So their system's really good at that. They also have a neat system in that every item has a unique number assigned to it. So as opposed to like just using a UPC, you can track individual items, which we like because we can track a game system that we buy for X amount of money, and then when we go to sell it, we can be okay with pricing it differently because we know how much we paid for it. Whereas if it was just like an Xbox One S, we could potentially be losing money because we don't know how much we paid for it if we just go off the UPC of that item. So that's a good thing about the system that a lot of point of sales don't have, and that we like it for a lot. It keeps us, gives us a better idea of how we're doing and if we're making money on stuff. Which, if you look at TCG Player, a lot of businesses don't care about making money. Apparently, like they aren't here to be making money, which is. It's interesting to watch, but so yeah, we use Fulcrum, and then for card singles, we use TCG Player Pro. They give you a little website to sell singles on, and then you can have kiosks. So we have just like little Chromebooks that people can look up singles and buy singles from us, and then we process that through TCG Player. So all of our card singles are on TCG Player, and then they buy from the kiosk, and then we can pull the cards and give it to them in a relatively efficient time. So that's what we use right now for the card side of business, and then the video game and just everything else side of business. And we're pretty happy with both of them. Brokula says, what are your thoughts on the One Piece TCG? It's doing really good. It's got very, very high demand for the IP to be as strong as it is, it helps the game a lot. And even like casual people are very interested in trying to pick up the stuff and open packs and just enjoy the TCG of it. The cards look good. I think they are interesting. It seems like the gameplay mechanics are really good. People like it a lot. There's a lot going for it. It's just very hard to get your hands on. So once all that goes and flushes through, and we're able to get more product in, we'll see how all the prices and stuff fare for everything. But for right now, it's healthy that people want it and demand is there. So I just wish I could get my hands on it. West Bragg says, no, Moonbrun is not a modern base of Charizard. Okay, that's fine. Iron Bank Gaming says, do you think allocations for Lord of the Rings and Commander Masters might be tight with prices? Yeah, that's... With that much money and those things being so expensive, they better be tight or else we're going to lose our asses. Just like we did with Baldur's Gate collector's boxes. Or, yeah, Commander Legends. There can't be too much of this product at an increased MSRP, or else all the stores are going to get punished if they're not able to sell it. So it has to be tight. It has to be limited, or else these high crazy prices just fails to make sense, and it won't stay there. So I think after Baldur's Gate, they hopefully got their best and the brightest to be like, okay, how do we prevent this from happening again? So hopefully they know what they're doing, that they're going to do it right. I know, give them a lot of faith to Hasbro, but I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt and hope that they know what they're doing. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. So it's gonna be high demand. It's gonna be expensive, but it has to be, for it to make sense. It has to make sense for stores to be able to want to buy it and have it have us take a chance on it after Commander Legends, because if we can't just keep taking L's on these collectible sets anymore. Like that, I can't lose thousands of dollars like I did last year on that set. Every year on a new set, I'm just gonna stop buying the product. And then, yeah. Derek Lavender's here. Mason Space, that's me. Tech Breach says, very true, and running your own site is much better. People don't realize all the fees behind it, and no one really trusts you unless you're well known. I've had more luck with 40K. Yeah, if you can, the hardest thing with having your own website is getting traffic there and getting people to use it and think of you instead of going to something like TCG Player or eBay or Amazon, to go to you instead. That takes a lot of training and people kind of getting hit over the head with being conditioned to do that. That's the hardest part with having your own website. Fat Belly Click says, what else sells outside of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic? Yeah, I said, as far as like TCGs, like I said earlier, Flesh and Blood. Flesh and Blood does really good for us. You know, maybe locally it may not, but yeah, definitely as far as like singles and things, even on like TCG Player, We sell a lot of singles on TCG Player for Flesh and Blood. It's a very up and coming and growing game that, because it's smaller, sometimes there's not as much card singles available. So when it has a big player spurt like it is in right now, there's just not enough sellers of the product that people want, and then it'll drive the prices up and make it, good for the people that are selling it and in that market right then and there. But yeah, players are kind of getting a bad deal there. There's just not enough product out there. Old Papa Bear says, I support reprints. Can't have a player base so no one can get a hold of the cards. Yeah, I mean, that's, as a TCG, reprints are absolutely, they're necessary. They have to be done, or else you're just things that, for a good TCG, for them to have a good structure of how mechanics work and card interactions work, they have to like layer cards and release things separately in different sets that you can then kind of weave together and make a good playable a meta using cards from different sets. Let me use Pokemon just because it's what I'm familiar with. I said like Lost Origin. Lost Origin is a Lost Zone set. So all those cards that are kind of used in Lost Zone are going to be in that set. We've never really seen that in Pokemon before, other than other sets with Lost Zone, like Lost Thunder had a lot of Lost Zone mechanics. But a lot of the cards used in that single deck is from that one set. I don't think that's atypical for Pokemon. Normally they'll put out a card and you'll read it and be like, huh, man, if this had one more thing, this might be a good card. Or this might really be busted. And then a set or two later, they'll print a card that has synergy with that one. And they're like, oh shoot, well, let's go back and get this one. And then that's how like a secondary market for singles exists, is for people that go back and get stuff from past sets that have value because the meta demands it and it synergizes with current stuff. That's how a healthy TCG should be layered, like that. So it has like cards that work together that may not have been in the same set. That's the idea, hopefully. So that's why reprints need to happen, so that when they do stuff like that, that those cards don't just whatever supply there is on TCG Player at the time. If people go out and buy out 100 of those cards, whatever 100 of those that exist on TCG Player, and then if they're not getting restocked, the card shoots up in price, goes crazy, and then that makes an expensive hobby when you have to go back and say, well, I need this card, but it's $30 a piece. I need 4 of these at $30 a piece. That sucks. That's a bad situation, especially for a children's card game. It's not a good idea. So, and that's why things like Yu-Gi-Oh! Always reprints stuff and puts things in other sets. That's why Commander Legends and the Masters products for Magic exist, so that things like that don't get too crazy and out of hand. And that's why specialty sets like Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is almost exclusively reprints because it keeps prices down, and then you can have like a cool, like shiny version or a special art version of something, and that alone will, when people swap out their old copies with the new copies, those cards go back on the market, and then it pushes the price for the lowest price thing because there's more demand or more product out there, so it pushes the price down. That is healthy. That's a good thing. That's why reprints exist, and they need to reprint stuff. Because a lot of times you can't just keep doing master sets and then putting out all the playable cards in a single set, because again, it's not good for the secondary market when a single set comes out and then it just has all the playable stuff in it. I might go for like 10 more minutes, guys, and then I'll hop out of here and go skedaddle home. We did a pretty good run. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. I appreciate you guys, any of you guys hanging out with me on a Sunday night. I appreciate you. Allman says, I'm super surprised with the current demand, our Pokemon demand, especially with Japanese being so popular. People will spend to open the Japanese box and then pay again to open the same box in English. Yeah. Double dipping, like for people that want the English and the Japanese version, or the Japanese version and the English version. It's an interesting thing, and it's not healthy for the Japanese market either, because so many people. It's good that there's so much demand, right? People, like, that's the dream. But if all the Japanese product is being outsourced and shipped to like US or Europe and everywhere else, the players that are in Japan that want to play the game and need the stuff to play the game have to pay silly prices for stuff. And that can suck. And they can't get their hands on the product. So I don't think that is what Pokemon wants. Or else they wouldn't print for sale in Japan only on all their Japanese product. You know, they want that stuff for Japanese cards to stay in Japan, and for Japanese players to be able to have them and use them. So that's the real the kicker with that, is that when you have a market and the first print, right? Japanese is the first print of anything. People rush and are excited to buy it, which is good, but it sucks all that product away from Japan that can't get any more. Professor Oak says, Mason, do some stores do like loss leaders type stuff to get people to buy stuff from them at the same time? Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, hosting events in themselves is a loss leader in the sense that I am giving away product or just cash or whatever to get people to come to my store. You know, if people come and play in a $10 event, and if I give them 3 packs worth of price support, that means I'm giving $12 worth of stuff for $10. I'm losing money. Not losing, but I'm not making as much money as I could be if I just sold that product outright, right? But that's in hope that they come, they hang out, they buy snacks, they buy drinks, they buy more packs, they buy ETBs, they buy playmats, sleeves, all that stuff. It's in hopes that they spend money with me buying singles and things that I have really, really good margins on. I'm okay with losing a little bit on something like sealed product when I'm making better margins on singles. So it's yeah, that's definitely, loss leaders are very good for a lot of businesses, but it doesn't make sense for an online store. I don't know if when you posted this, Oak, but for a business like Card Rush on TCG Player selling below the cost, that's not helping them at all. Like that's not doing them any favors. That doesn't like drive traffic to their store or to their business. People are just gonna buy the cheapest one. They don't care. So that type of stuff is confusing to me. Whereas, yeah, running events or doing stuff or doing a win a case or something like that, where you kind of throw it out there and hope that people show up to make it worth it. That type of stuff can be seen as a loss leader for sure. And it's with the idea that people come in and spend money. Yeah. Coolvid says, what's your best guess which Sword and Shield set might get reprinted for booster boxes? Well, my best guess would be the most expensive ones that are currently. Evolving Skies. It makes sense to reprint because it's still in standard, even when rotation happens. If it happens again in August, which it probably won't, but we'll see what they decide to do with that. But let's say those cards are going to be playable for a while now still, so it would make sense to reprint Evolving Skies because I think it's an E block. Yeah, so and then Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars is the next most expensive, so that makes sense to reprint that. And there's playable and meta stuff that's in there too. And then probably, if I had to guess, probably something like Lost Origin would make sense to reprint after that, because the booster boxes for that kind of blew up overnight and kind of more harsh than the other ones did. And we never really got a good second wave of Lost Origin. And then something like that, that'll probably take us to, like, you know, probably like the end of the year maybe, or close to fall, if they wanted to kind of sprinkle reprints throughout the year. That is what makes most sense to me. But who knows? Frankie Tube, or Frankie's Tube. Yo Mace, I manage a shop in SoCal. Have you been supplementing your lack of English Pokemon with Japanese product? It helped us out a ton. Yeah, I mean, if you have a good source for it and can kind of get that stuff for a reasonable price where it makes sense, and it's not too crazy of a markup, and you get it from a good source that you know isn't like scamming you and taking packs out of it and weighing things out, and yeah, if you have a good source for it, yeah, that makes sense to do for sure. And yeah, people do want to open up new stuff just because it's new and have fun with it. So yeah, I mean, I could see where, you know, if you can't buy the English one, the Japanese one is still fun for a lot of people. So it makes sense. Jill Johnson says, also if they overprint a set like Commander Masters, the secondary will plummet and the value of the set won't be there and will crash and make it a dud set. They can easily mess it up. Yeah, I mean, it's very delicate, obviously, right? Like, people can argue that Commander Legends Baldur's Gate did not have enough value in it to support that higher price point. And people have said, you know, if they threw in Dockside Extortionists and stuff like that, that it would have been a better set. It would have been more value so that more buyers and players would have the value in that would incentivize them to buy it. But yeah, I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to know how the secondary market and how just even the first hand market, the people that are buying it just from stores, are gonna to take a set, and if they are gonna like it or not. It's hard. It's very hard to predict that kind of stuff. Max David says, how's the new Phyrexia set been for you? Just got my first big lot in this weekend. Yeah, All Will Be One has been great. We've had to reorder it several times. I get in a couple collector boosters and they sell out the same day, so it's a constant struggle to try to keep it on the shelf. But yeah, people are really liking it. People are really enjoying it. And just fun new mechanics that are still like our callback to older stuff. You know, like I really like what they did with Brothers War and stuff like that, where it has like old classic characters on like old classic planes, but you know, updated and made new for, you know, players that maybe weren't around for then, but still, it's very lore rich for people that have been. So it's kind of rewarding for both people. Very much so like Pokemon, you can make something for collectors and players in the same set, right? And have, you know, altars and stuff like that to supplement it. Same thing with like the lore of Magic for older players, and calling back to older planes and making new mechanics and cool stuff and flashy new stuff for new people. It's a very similar concept that both Magic and Pokemon are doing pretty well right now, at least at the moment. Janelle Johnson says, I'm just hoping Amazon will deliver the complete bundles. Yeah, that was a mess. I think I'm getting like 18 of them, and it's just like, what do I do with them? It's kind of crazy. Shiny Light Bulb, hey, how you doing? Do you think Ditto is a popular Pokemon? It's fairly popular, I think. I mean, I know people that just collect Ditto cards and enjoy like Ditto plushies and things. So yeah, I'd say it's up there. It's like in the top third of popular Pokemon. I would say it's pretty popular. Eduardo, anything special going on tomorrow for Pokemon Day? Not that I know of, other than the direct of it. Janelle Johnson says, disagree with the take on the Japanese market. It's down to the distributors in Japan to deal with and print for the market demand. If they are crossing seas, it needs more print. Correct, but I think the printers are already struggling as is. Just like here, you can't just print more product when you're already like tapped out. And you don't want to go like super heavy into like buying a bunch of new printers and stuff like that if you don't think the demand is going to be there for the long term, which I think is reasonable for Pokemon to think that, the interest in Japanese product may not always be that way and may not always be there. I could be wrong, but if I was them, I would not be like scaling Japanese cards exclusively to prepare for like this to be super popular all the time. It would make more sense for them to structure and make it less incentivizing for people to export that product overseas. Because the distribution in Japan, they don't make any money off of the elevated prices for this stuff, because just like here, but less so, the Japanese distribution can only sell to Japanese companies. It's those people that get that product from the distributors that then jack up the price crazy and ship it up international. So that's where it doesn't make, it's like Pokemon doesn't want to export any of this stuff because they're not making any more money by leaving the country. And distributors aren't making any more money because they can't sell to companies overseas. There is no distributor from Japanese Pokemon that sells it product internationally. They can't, as far as I know. They're not supposed to sell wholesale to a company outside of Japan, as far as I know. That's I may be wrong, but that is the way I interpret it and how I've always heard how it works. It has to go through another business or a store or somewhere like Plaza Japan or something like that for those businesses to then ship it international. So yeah, it's hard to just print more. It's hard when there's only you're on an island trying to print just as much product as possible, and not being sure when the demand may just completely disappear. It's rough. Tech Priest says, on the loss leader, using TG player should be to avoid loss leaders, as you've given up margin for their advertisement. Events may or may not be a loss leader, though. Using TG player should be to avoid loss leaders, as you're giving up. Yes, right. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to sell at a loss on TG player, or even like preemptively sell it for a loss because you're gaining nothing. Like Scarlet and Violet could again be super short printed. We have a big lull in getting any more product a month or two after release, and then all these people that sold these boxes for 120, what if they go up to the MSRP at 160? All these guys lost money and missed out on opportunity because they wanted to race to the bottom and try to get rid of the stuff. It's kind of silly. It's very short-sighted, even more so than like me like selling through stuff on release when it's in my hand, when I should be maybe holding some back. But we're all guessing. We have no idea. It's very hard to know. So I'm gonna say a company like Card Rush, they know what they're doing. They're pretty smart. They're pretty big. They make plenty of money, I'm sure. And if they make a couple, or they lose a couple bucks selling on TCG Player, if that makes their numbers make sense, look, they're doing better than I am. So, Derek Lavender, hello, hi. Mason, when Quick Ball rotates out, I'm thinking I might run Feather Balls in place of them in a Mew deck. I mean, yeah. It's... yeah. You want to discard stuff still. So Quick Ball was nice, that it discarded stuff. But... and Feather Ball is a search that you can get Pokemon out with. But a way of discarding would be better. So, I mean, no one's going to be cutting like crams and stuff like that. You want to be keeping that type of stuff in. Yeah, if you just want to search for Mons and you know it's not turn 1 with Battle VIP, then yeah. Yeah, I would play a couple of them, at least, you know. Imposter Oak says, Brilliant Stars will surpass Evolving Skies. Mark my words. There's a subset and a chased Charizard. Yeah. Traditionally, if you're going based off of traditional TCG demand, I think I can't argue that Brilliant Stars is gonna be a bad set. Like, there's this, that's a silly take. I can't say that. But there has never been a set with EVs in it. That many EVs. And there's never been a set with that many alt-arts of EVs. That's unprecedented. That's a first. That's a never before seen. And the popularity of all the EVs, just all of them, it can't be understated. Like, there's, like, everybody has a favorite EV. And for a lot of people, all the EVs are some of their favorite Pokemon. So, it's just the longevity demand for this set. They're going to reprint more Charizards. They're going to reprint more good sets like that. But we may never see another set that has so many EVs in alt-arts with in a set like that. And then you have Rayquaza, and then you have Dragonite, and you have all these other, like, a bunch of heavy hitters all in one set. It was really just a crazy, super strong set that is like a first. You know, it'd be really, really hard for me to justify saying that Evolving Skies is worse than Brilliant Stars. I just don't think it is. The demand is just it's too much. Like, and the numbers back that up. Like, if you go on TCG Player, look up best-selling, hit best-selling on the top when you go to Pokemon, and look at the cards and tell me that all the EVs aren't up there before like anything from Brilliant Stars. Because they all are. They're all up there and sell way faster. James, hi, Z&G's out there. Background is on point. Yeah, really getting that. I really love that video, James, of your top 10 that you did. I think about it a lot. It really hit me way stronger than it probably should. But yeah, it does have that kind of vibe to it. Yeah. Wizard Words, NW. What do you miss? Man, 2.5 hours of just me rambling and answering questions. It's really all we've had. Janelle Johnson says, glad to see Lorcana trying to go the LGS method, which is smart to try to grow a player base, but hope it's targeted for all audiences and not too kid-like. Yeah, it's hard because it's Disney, right? Like, it's their entire brand is for families and kids, and then I mean just like Pokemon. Like, Pokemon is never gonna make like an edgy, cool like adult set because the primary people that like Pokemon are kids. And yeah, we'll get some edgy arts here and there, and we'll get like more adult-looking cards and stuff like that. But we'll never have like just like a visceral like like adult themed like in of art of Pokemon, just because it's gonna be for kids. And the same thing with Lorcana. Like, we're never gonna have super crazy, silly card art that's super adult because it's a kid's card game. I think I'm out the bottom of the chat. I made all the way down. So yeah, this is, I mean, it's perfect. I just hit the time that I want to be here. 85 of you guys still hanging out. Again, appreciate you all. Hit the like button if you would on the way out, just to say thanks. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. Have a good week. Get ready for Monday. Go get some sleep. Sleep well. Have a good week. And I'll see you guys in a few when I make another video. So, again, appreciate